Prejudice and discrimination have a big impact in Canada. It affects many minority groups, such as the 2S LGBTQ community, Indigenous community, and the Black community, as well as the disabled community. I was born with a disability and use a wheelchair. I face discrimination because of having a disability. Although I wouldn't refer to myself as disabled, I prefer to think of myself as differently abled. I often face the question, what's wrong with you? I often want to reply but choose not to. There's nothing wrong with me. What's wrong with you? I have realized through taking the World Cultures course that in regards to the change continuum, I am aware, but I would like to make more of an impact. I want to speak up and advocate for myself and for others that face prejudice and discrimination. A multicultural society is vital so we can learn to respect and appreciate other people and accept their differences rather than discriminate against them. If we want to change and learn about multiculturalism, we need to be willing to expose ourselves and learn about other cultures. If we shield ourselves from doing so, we will let discrimination take its place. To address the impact of prejudice and discrimination in Canada, I will be interviewing Alex Laguego to get his thoughts toward this subject. I want to start with a humorous video I came across that addresses people's misunderstanding and interpretations. Thank you to Ken Tanaka for allowing me to use his video.
Hi there.
Hi.
Nice day, huh?
Yeah, finally, right?
Where are you from? Your English is perfect.
San Diego. We speak English there.
Oh, no. Where are you from?
Well, I was born in Orange County, but I never actually lived there.
I mean before that.
Before I was born.
Yeah, like, where are your people from?
Well, my great-grandma was from Seoul.
Korean. I knew it. I was like, she's either Japanese or Korean. But I was leaning more towards Korean.
Amazing.
Yeah. Hamshasina. There's a really good teriyaki barbecue place near my apartment. So I actually really like kimchi.
Cool. What about you? Where are you from?
San Francisco.
But where are you from?
Oh, I'm just American.
Really? You're Native American?
No, just regular American. Oh, well, I guess my grandparents are from England.
Oh, well. Hello, Governor! What's all this then? Top of the morning to you. Let's get a small tea. Double, toil and trouble. Mind the gap! Beware Jack the Ripper! Bloody hell! Pip pip! Cheerio! I think your people's fish and chips are amazing.
You're weird.
Really? I'm weird? Must be a Korean thing.
I would like to introduce my mom's coworker and close family friend, Alex Laguego. My mom and Alex met in 2020 when she started working in the same department of the board office as him. Alex was originally born in Cameroon, but eventually immigrated to Canada. Do you have anything else to add about coming to Canada, Alex?
Yeah, I originally moved to Canada in 2007, so it's been a while now that I've been in Canada. And I originally moved to Canada. Originally moved to Montreal, and then eventually to go off to study, and then find now in London, where I live with my family.
Alrighty, so our first interview question is, what is your perspective on multiculturalism and why is it important to live in a multicultural society?
I think multiculturalism is a great advantage that you could, if you could live in a society which is multicultural, because you're learning from multiple people, from different people with diverse backgrounds, diverse cultures. I think that diversity brings the beauty in it, because you're always experiencing different things. When you think about culture, you think about food, you think about music, you think about the art. and all of those things, the diversity that comes with all of that is really a beautiful thing to experience. So it's really important to live in a multicultural society.
All right, now question 2. How can people change and learn about multiculturalism?
I think people need to experience it. I think the challenge oftentimes is that we are afraid of what we don't know. We are afraid of the unknown. But I think if you're open to experiencing things, to trying new things, for example, London has a multicultural affairs at Coventry Market. So just going out there, experiencing different music, trying different foods, seeing different art form. I think it's just really a matter of experiencing it, and then you can dispel some of the fear and bias or prejudice that often hinder us from experiencing and enjoying multiculturalism.
Now, question 3. Do people ask you the popular question, where are you from?
Yeah, I also don't want to make people worried or afraid of asking the question, because there are two ways that this question could, or multiple ways anyway, but two ways for me that I think about that this question could come up. It could be that somebody has known me for a while and we are workmates, or we become friends, or we're acquaintances, like, sometimes just even the person that you always go to the grocery store and you see at the cash. And they're curious, right? You get to know them and they're curious because maybe you have an accent, or maybe you buy a particular product often, and they're just curious as to why, and so they can ask you where you're coming from. It's genuine curiosity. There's no bias in it. There's no prejudice in it. But sometimes you meet people and it's their first time of meeting you, and they ask you where you're from, and that is a signal of that you are out of place, like you are in a place where you're not supposed to be, and that comes with prejudice, and again that might be where it becomes a little bit annoying when you get those questions from people pure strangers who might never meet you again, and really honestly have no business in knowing where you're from.
All right. Question 4. What has been the impact for you in regards to prejudice and discrimination in Canada?
I think one thing that is important to also note with that question too is the fact that prejudice and bias kind of exists everywhere. I think the impact I would say here is constantly potentially explaining oneself. I do speak with an accent, same as Canadians would speak with an accent. And if a Canadian is in the US, people would say they speak funny. Or if a Canadian is in Cameroon, people would say they speak funny. So I think that the challenge becomes when maybe, say, my accent or the way I enunciate certain words in English is perceived as being the wrong way of enunciating that word rather than a different way. So I think prejudice for me, it's more an experience of people not accepting difference and dwelling on that difference.
Alrighty, question 5. Have you only lived in London?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I've kind of traveled I left Cameroon about 20 years ago, lived in the UK for a while before immigrating to Canada, lived in Montreal, because Cameroon is bilingual, so Montreal was the French influence, and then moved to Guelph, where I studied, before moving to London, where we've been now for the past 10 years.
All right, final question. How can people learn, grow, and be the change in terms of their prejudices and discrimination?
I think I'll just state back something that I mentioned earlier on. People just need to embrace and explore different experiences, get to know people. And we all have biases. That's the one thing that it's a human condition. We all have biases, and we're all uncomfortable in certain things. The first time you meet somebody who might look different, whether it's their color, it's their gender, or it's their abilities, we all have that the instant curiosity, or sometimes fear, or sometimes the different biases that come up. But I think it's really thinking about the person, not whatever you see, and exploring experiences. You're going to like people who present differently, and sometimes you might not necessarily enjoy their company. But it shouldn't be about the way the person presents. It's really about the human relationship that you can build with them. So I think it's really emphasizing that people should be open to experiencing and embracing other people and letting and providing opportunities for other people to belong in our society.
Alrighty, those were great answers. Thank you for participating in this interview.
Thanks, Samuel.